So the theme for this Reiju was really looking at the energy around the new Chinese New Year. So the Year of the Rabbit has begun, and apparently it's bringing with it a more bouncy energy if you think about the rabbit itself. And it is also to do with more luck. In certain traditions, you'll carry around the rabbit's foot for good luck. And the idea is that last year, there was quite a lot of talk about the Year of the Tiger being quite a difficult one. Before, this was the kind of predictions, and they did end up being quite true. The Year of the Rabbit is supposed to be calmer. And I think that when the rabbit energy started coming in, there was a general, for me anyway, I perceived an energy of more optimism and more directioned action. So last year, it just felt like we were starting to action. Everyone was starting to come out and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do, but the energy was very chaotic. And I don't know if you're feeling this, but it just feels a little bit more productive in terms of the energy is moving in a certain direction. And that might be certain plans or certain ideas that you have for this year that feel a bit more solid and stable than this time last year. But at the same time, obviously, with the earthquakes and with all the disasters natural disasters going around, the planet feels very, I'm going to say, unsafe at the moment. Like there's just that energy that is very uncomfortable. My feeling around this is that for us to continue holding our own steady space, we can start to use our Reiki a little bit more proactively all through the day. And before I put the recording on, I was asking people what your Reiki practice looks like now. I've noticed that I don't formally do my Reiki practice the way that I used to. I find that I'm bringing Reiki energy through intention and thought a lot more rather than through my hands. So what I mean by that is if I have a certain situation that I'm finding sticky and my energy is all like this, then I will invite Reiki into my aura, for example, or into my breath, or into all my body cells. So it's not coming from a specific locality of my hands, because my hands might be busy doing something else. I might be driving, I might be whatever. So more towards the Reiki 2 side of using your Seiki, for example, to harmonize the energy around you, but not using the symbols. So even if you're a Reiki 1 listening to this, you might play around with this. So I thought the meditation that we would do, the healing practice we would do, would be more around this idea. Even though I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your body, we are then going to, through the healing, we're going to see if we can call in the Reiki and direct it into certain intentions. So we're going to play around with that. Just see what you think. See if you like it. Perhaps you're doing it already, so it's nothing new for you. But the general idea, I think, of this year is to walk with Reiki, to have it there as a constant energy support system for you, as if Reiki itself is the air or the breath. And so then you can call on it all the time. You don't have to think, oh no, I'm really stressed right now, but I'm going to Reiki myself later. It's actually, no, what if you could just call it in without having it channel through the hands, but actually just almost like absorbing it, like osmosis through your skin, right? And the skin does that anyway. It does absorb a certain amount of oxygen and nutrients, and when you put body lotion on, it absorbs all the nutrients that way. So we are aware that our skin as a physical organ has a lot of capacity to absorb energy and absorb stuff, absorb things. And so it's bringing that idea, and obviously the aura has a huge sensitivity. right? When you walk into a room or you're with somebody who's very angry or very emotionally charged, you can feel it without having to touch them or even speak to them. So this is the idea of starting to activate more, expand more than just where our hands can go, or if you're Reiki 2 or above, where you activate Reiki with the symbols. So what would happen? Like, are you ready? Dropping more of the symbols or more of the mentality of, oh, I need to channel Reiki through something, and letting that experiment with this idea that actually Reiki is universal life force, and universal life force is also around me, in me, is me, the whole thing. And can I simply through my intention activate that feeling within me? Yeah. So we're going to play around with that today. Just see what you think. Is it something that feels natural for you? Do you feel like, yeah, I might quite like to experiment with this a bit more? Or is it something that you're like, no, not quite there yet? I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? Whether you like to do it that way or not. This is really more about experimenting with where the Reiki is inviting you to go right now. Yeah. So we start off. The other thing that I've started inviting people to do is to really start to pull in this idea of attuning ourselves to Reiki as something that doesn't necessarily have to be done with a Reiki master. And I know the rhetoric over the years is like, you have to have an attunement with a Reiki master and blah, 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 blah. Personally, I have been experimenting with this a lot. That is really not the case anymore. And I don't even know if it was ever the case. Maybe it was just us saying that that's what we had to do. But certainly the experimentation I've been doing at the moment is people, complete beginners, can attune themselves to Reiki. And I know I'm saying some pretty out there things, but let's just play with it ourselves. Okay, so right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to bring your hands into Gassho, prayer pose. And you're just going to place it next to your heart center. And we're just going to close our eyes. You can turn off your video if you want. I tend to turn off my video as I do this. And just start to settle. We're just going to go into about 20 minutes where we're just going to send Reiki out and experiment with this. So you're just bringing your hands into Gassho. You're just breathing. Start to notice the chair that you're sitting on. If your feet are flat on the ground, you start to connect in with the feet, noticing the floor. And imagine that your crown chakra, so it's like an energy vortex right at the top of your head, sits a 1,000-petaled lotus, a lotus flower. And you're just allowing it to open. And as you allow it to open, maybe you feel sensations, maybe it's more visual. You imagine the Reiki energy is entering through the crown and descending all the way down into your heart. It may be something you can give a color to, or white light, a certain vibration or sensation. You can activate it through the breath. As you inhale, you bring it in through the crown, into the heart center. As you exhale, you allow that energy to flow all the way through the body. So you are actively inviting the attunement yourself, asking Reiki to flow more strongly, asking for your alignment to be even stronger, more connected. And then whenever you're ready, you're just going to bring your hands down somewhere on your body. So you could be connected through the hands on the thighs, around the belly. Sometimes people like to have one hand over the heart chakra, one hand over the sacral, but just somewhere that is relaxed. We're going to do a quick body scan now, bringing your attention back up to the crown and using the breath as well. So every exhale, you're inviting your body to relax a little bit. You're relaxing around the face and the eyes, the jaw. Dropping your attention down into the shoulders. All the way down the arms, relaxing into the elbows, the wrists, the hands. And then all the way down the back. And even notice as you breathe, there's a movement all through the torso with your breath. And every exhale, you're just activating that sensation to relax the body a little bit more, all the way into the hips. Releasing and relaxing the belly as well, all the way down into the pelvis, the hips, the thighs. All the way down into the calves, the ankles, the feet. And then very gently, just seeing if you can expand your attention out into the whole group. And that might feel a bit odd. Maybe you use a visualization. Imagine we're all sitting together in a room. Or you might just notice a kind of energetic connection. We're all dotted around the world. And you're just feeling into these very subtle vibrational connections of intention. And if that all sounds too complicated, you're simply intending to connect with everybody who's on the call today, perhaps people who are listening later. And then see if you can feel that subtle difference in your own energy as you do this. Might feel like a expansion. You might start noticing your hands tingling a bit more as you bring these other energies into your awareness. And you feel it being reciprocated. People are also thinking and touching into your energy with the most well-wishing intention, healing, love, support. And within this group energy, there is a huge capacity to work. In other words, to balance energies, to release old burdens or belief structures that no longer serve you. So experimenting with this, just bring to your mind something that you feel needs some kind of balancing or maybe releasing or shifting. Could be a difficult relationship, could be a situation at work or at home. But keep your focus on something that is a little bit sticky. And as you bring that to your attention, maybe a visual of a person standing in front of you, or maybe a snapshot image of a situation at work or whatever it is. And using that imagery, bring Reiki to it. Inviting that Reiki energy in, whether you visualize it as a white light or any other color, or whether you visualize that as a very gentle wave or a pulse. Or you might be drawn to identifying it with a certain loving attention, as if you're bringing love into the situation. And not trying to do anything with it. You're simply bringing Reiki in and around whatever it is, with the intention of harmonizing, of filling it up with universal life force, allowing it to unfold in its own time and place. Allowing it to soften. Remembering to breathe and stay relaxed yourself. Notice if there's any tension that has developed as you're doing this. Habitual scrunching, perhaps in the shoulders, or forgetting to breathe nice and easily. And then just very gently letting that imagery disperse, going back to your own breathing, your own sense of Reiki within yourself. And now let's experiment with something more future focused and intention. Perhaps something that you're wanting to manifest right now. Perhaps a quality within yourself that you're working on. But something that you don't quite have right now, but you would like to unfold. That can be anything. It could be big, it could be small. And just for fun, bring that imagery to your mind, whatever that is. And as you bring it up in your mind, imagine Reiki penetrating all around it, lighting it up, making it more bright, more sparkly. See how that shifts anything in your own sense of self. Maybe it brings some gratitude up, some excitement. An awareness that the possibility could actually become real. Just noticing what happens. And keeping it very positive. If the mind is going into doubt, if the mind is going into negative self-talk, just very gently letting those thoughts go away. Just letting them go. Keeping your focus on your intention or your affirmation, or whatever it is you're trying to manifest. Remembering to stay relaxed and breathing. You can stay playing with this as long as you like, or you can just allow that imagery also to dissipate. And going back to the idea of breathing in the Reiki, experimenting to see as you inhale, Can you breathe it in through your entire aura? The aura is an energy that surrounds you, almost like a bubble. Imagine yourself filling up your aura with Reiki. That you're calling it in as you inhale. And as you exhale, you allow it to disperse into any areas of tension or pain, any specific areas of illness you're working on right now. And then bringing your attention a little bit closer into the skin itself. Inhaling through the skin as if Reiki is coming into all the pores, every skin cell, all around the body simultaneously. See what that feels like. And then just very gently dropping so much attention, just allowing your attention to be very soft around the whole body. Noticing the breath, noticing the hands. Maybe you notice areas of tension, just very gently inviting the Reiki energy in to relax, to harmonize these areas, to release any pain. And now very gently dropping our attention all the way down into the feet. Noticing the ground that supports us. Noticing the toes, the weight of your feet as it's on the floor. And very gently releasing yourself from the group energy. And all that really means is you just start to notice your own aura around you. You might visualize that you have a very beautiful bubble. You might notice colors. It might just feel like a white light or sensation. You're just feeling into your boundaries. Feeling into the boundaries of your own physical body. Perhaps as you're working around the feet, you're just noticing that your legs as a whole, and then up into the hips and the belly, up into the chest, the shoulders, down the arms, wiggling the fingers a little bit, all the way up in through the neck, the head, the face, the eyes, all the way back up to the crown. Then very gently giving yourself a little stretch, raising your arms above your head if that feels good, giving yourself a little wiggle all the way down the spine. And whenever you're ready, opening your eyes.